Let me tell you about the day I found out my sister took out a $35,000 loan in my name. I was at work, halfway through my shift at the auto shop, when I got a call from some debt collector. The guy on the other end of the line sounded like he'd just downed 6 espressos. "Mr. Carter," he said, "we're calling to resolve the outstanding balance on your personal loan. We've sent you multiple notices. This is your final warning before we escalate this to legal action." I laughed. I actually laughed. I thought it was a scam. Told the guy I hadn't taken out any loan and that he had the wrong Carter. But then he rattled off the last 4 digits of my social security number. That's when my stomach dropped. I hung up, heart racing, and called my bank. An hour later, I was sitting in the branch manager's office, staring at documents with my name and signature on them, except it wasn't my handwriting. I knew that handwriting. It was my sister's. I sat there in stunned silence as the manager explained how the loan had been processed online, with digital verification. Apparently, the email used was similar to mine, just off by 1 character. The address? Our childhood home. The kicker? The funds had been disbursed to a bank account I didn't recognize, one that was opened 6 months ago and now closed. I knew who had access to that address. Who knew enough about me to forge something like this? And who had been acting sketchy as hell for the past year? Emily. Emily had always been the golden child. Sweet, charming, pretty, the one our parents doted on while I played second fiddle. I didn't resent her growing up, not really. I figured that's just how it was. I worked hard, didn't make trouble, and stayed in my lane. I thought she appreciated that. But apparently, appreciation had a limit. When I got to her apartment that night, she was curled up on the couch with a glass of wine and some reality TV blaring in the background. She barely looked up when I walked in. "Hey big bro, what's up?" I didn't even sit down. Just tossed the folder with the loan documents on her coffee table. Her eyes barely flicked toward it. "What's that?" "You tell me." She picked it up, glanced at the top page, then paled. Real slow. Like the blood drained from her body. "I can explain," she blurted. That was the first time I ever saw true panic in her eyes. I didn't say a word. Just crossed my arms. "I was going to pay it back," she said. "I swear. I just needed a little help, and you have good credit, Anne." "You stole my identity," I snapped. "Do you realize what you've done? That's fraud. That's a felony, Emily. You could go to jail for this." She started crying. Ugly crying. Snot, tears, the whole works. And I just stood there, watching my baby sister crumble. I wish I could say I felt nothing. But I did. I felt everything: rage, betrayal, heartbreak. She kept saying she was sorry. That she was desperate. That she thought I wouldn't notice. I left without saying another word. The next few days were a blur of calls with banks, affidavits, and police reports. I had to freeze my credit, change passwords, and hire a damn lawyer. Every time I saw her name pop up on my phone, I sent it straight to voicemail. And then, 2 weeks later, she showed up at my apartment, crying again. This time with an envelope in her hand. "Please," she said. "Just hear me out." I didn't want to. But I let her in. The envelope? Full of receipts. Payments she had been making toward the loan. She'd managed to pay back almost a third. But then she lost her job, and everything spiraled. "I didn't know what else to do," she whispered. "I thought you'd never forgive me." "You were right," I said. "I don't." But I hadn't pressed charges yet. And she knew that. "Please," she begged. "Give me one more chance. I'll fix this. I promise." I stared at her for a long time. Then said, "You better. Because if you don't next time, I will call the cops." For a while, it looked like she was actually trying. Emily picked up 2 part-time jobs, a receptionist gig during the day and waiting tables at night. She moved into a cheaper apartment, ditched her leased car, and even started walking dogs on the weekends. Every few weeks, I get a text from her with a screenshot, a payment to the loan. She was chipping away at it. I still didn't forgive her. Not even close. But I was watching. And I was waiting. About 5 months in, she called me crying again. I didn't pick up. She left a voicemail. Please call me back. It's urgent. I messed up. I need your help. I didn't rush to call her. I waited until the next day, then finally dialed. She answered on the first ring, breathless. They fired me, she said. Both jobs. What? Why? One said I was always late. The other claimed I was rude to a customer. I don't know, maybe I was. I've been so stressed, Carter, I can't think straight. I'm 2 weeks behind on rent. My account's overdraft. I don't know what to do. She was spiraling. Again. And then she dropped the bomb. I need you to take over the loan payments. Just for a little while. Until I get back on my feet. I almost laughed. Are you out of your damn mind? Please, Carter. If I default, it's your credit that gets destroyed. That hit me like a brick. She wasn't wrong. As much as I wanted to wash my hands of this whole thing, if she stopped paying, it would come back to haunt me. She knew that. She was counting on it. So now you're blackmailing me with my own credit score? I'm not blackmailing you. I'm just saying, please. You've always been the responsible one. Help me again. Just this once. I was so pissed I could barely breathe. But I knew she was right. If I let the loan go into default, it would take me down with it. So I did something I hated myself for. I paid it. Just 1 month. Just to buy time. I told her, you've got 30 days. Find a new job. Figure it out. I'm not doing this again. She promised me she would. And for about 3 weeks, it seemed like she meant it. She went to job interviews, sent me updates, even landed a temp gig. Then radio silence. I waited. Then I got a call from the bank. Another payment had bounced. And there were no signs of effort to fix it. I called her. Straight to voicemail. I texted. No reply. I drove to her apartment. She was gone. The landlord said she broke her lease and left town. No forwarding address. She ghosted me. She freaking ghosted me. And left me holding the bag for the rest of that $35,000 loan. That was the day I stopped seeing her as my sister. I filed a police report. I gave them everything, her forged documents, her fake email, the loan trail, her last known address. My lawyer filed a fraud claim with the bank and started the process of removing my name from the loan. It wouldn't be easy. But I was done being the safety net. 3 months later, I got a call from a rehab center 3 states away. It was Emily. Please don't hang up, she whispered. I'm in treatment. I checked myself in. I know I messed up. I just wanted you to know I'm trying to change. I didn't say a word. Carter. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to hear it from me. I'm sorry. She started to cry. Quiet, defeated tears. I don't have anyone else. You're the only family I've got left. I took a long breath. My voice came out cold. Then maybe you shouldn't have burned that bridge. And I hung up. She showed up 6 weeks later. I came home from work, and there she was, sitting on the bottom step of my apartment building. She looked like hell, sunken eyes, thinner than I'd ever seen her, bundled in a hoodie that used to be mine. When she stood up, she wobbled slightly, like just existing took effort. I didn't know where else to go, she said. I didn't say anything. Just opened the door and walked inside. She followed. She didn't ask to stay. She didn't need to. I made her sleep on the couch. No food in the fridge? That was her problem. She didn't complain. For a few days, we barely spoke. She mostly slept. I watched her detox in silence, cold sweats, shaking, crying in her sleep. I hated that I still cared. One night, I came home and she was sitting at the table with a legal pad and a pen. She looked up. I'm making a plan, she said. I raised an eyebrow. I can't keep doing this. I want to pay you back. I want to fix it. I need to know you'll give me one last chance. I sat down across from her. You want a chance? Here's the deal. I'll give you 30 days. You get a job, any job. You pay me back $500 by the end of the month. And you sign this. I pulled a contract from my bag, something my lawyer had drawn up. It said she acknowledged the fraud, the identity theft, the loan, the damage. If she ever tried to run again, I could press charges without warning. It also gave me the legal right to garnish any future income she might earn if she defaulted. She looked at it and froze. You want me to sign this? Damn right I do. This is basically a confession. You could ruin me with this. You already ruined me. This is insurance. She stared at the paper for a long time. Then she picked up the pen. And signed. That month was the longest of my life. Emily got a retail job. Started showing up on time. Walked to work. Came home exhausted but didn't complain. She handed me $200 after the first paycheck. Then another $150. She missed the full $500, came up $80 short. But I let it slide. The next month, she paid in full. Then she paid extra. After 3 months, she moved out. Got a tiny studio and a second job tutoring. She didn't ask for help. And she didn't miss a single payment. We weren't close. We were polite. But there were no more tears, no more excuses. Then our parents came back into the picture. They had heard rumors. My mom called, furious. How could you make your sister sign something like that? She was in a bad place, Carter. She needed help, not threats. I laughed. Funny. Because when she was draining my bank account and screwing my credit, you didn't seem too worried. She's family. Yeah, well, family doesn't steal from each other. She signed that paper because she wanted to fix it. Don't call me until you understand that. Click. Emily heard about that call a few days later. You really stood up to Mom, she asked. Yeah. I did. She nodded slowly. Then, for the first time in months, she smiled. Not the fake one. A real one. Thank you. It wasn't much. But it was a start. It had been almost a year since Emily signed that paper. She was still paying. On time. Every month like clockwork. We weren't friends, but we were civil. I even started trusting her again. A little. Then came the wedding invite. No, not hers. Our cousin Leah. Big church thing, full banquet reception, open bar, the works. The whole extended family would be there. And for the first time in years, Emily and I would be in the same room with our parents. I debated skipping it. But Leah had always been kind to me, even during the mess with the loan. So I went. Emily showed up late, but she looked healthy. Confident. Put together. She was wearing a navy dress and heels, hair pulled back. She even smiled when she saw me. Carter, she said. You came. So did you, I replied, nodding. We didn't hug, but we stood next to each other during the ceremony. It was weirdly okay. Then came the reception. We were seated at the same table. Along with our parents. At first, it was fine. Polite small talk. Nervous chuckles. But halfway through dinner, our mom leaned in and said, Emily told me she's almost done paying you back. I gave her a look. And maybe it's time to let this whole thing go. She's been through enough. Emily stiffened. She didn't say anything. But I could see her jaw clench. Let it go? I said, my voice low. I did let it go. I let her fix it on her own terms. She's doing that. Don't make this something it's not. Our dad cut in. Son, we know she messed up. But dragging it out like this, lawyers, contracts, it's too much. Emily slammed her fork down. Hard. I asked him to write that contract. Silence fell around the table. He didn't force me. I begged him to give me a structure. Something real. Something to hold me accountable. So don't you dare act like he's the bad guy. She stood up, grabbed her clutch, and walked out. I didn't move. Just stared at my parents. She's grown, I said. Try treating her like it. Then I followed her outside. Emily was sitting on the edge of a planter, lighting a cigarette with shaky hands. She hadn't smoked in months. "You didn't have to defend me," I said. "Yeah, I did," she muttered. "You were the only one who ever held me to any standard. And it saved me." We sat in silence for a bit. The sounds of the wedding drifted out: laughter, music, glasses clinking. "You think we'll ever be okay again?" she asked. I looked up at the stars. "I think we're better than we've ever been." "That's a start." She nodded. "Then I'll take it." 6 months passed. Emily made her final loan payment on a Tuesday. I didn't realize it until I checked the shared bank log and saw the notification: loan paid in full. She didn't call. Didn't text. No dramatic declaration. Just a clean break from the debt that had defined us for years. I wasn't sure what to do with that. Then, one Saturday morning, there was a knock at my door. I opened it to find her standing there, holding 2 cups of coffee and a box of donuts. "You free?" she asked. I stepped aside. We sat on the balcony, sipping coffee, chewing in silence. Finally, she reached into her coat pocket and pulled out an envelope. "What's this?" "A check," she said. "Not for the loan. For something else." I opened it. It was made out to me. 10 grand. Emily, what the hell? It's not a gift. It's seed money. I know you've been talking about opening your own shop someday. That's for when you're ready. I stared at her. "Where did you get this?" "I've been saving. Side gigs. Extra hours. I've been thinking a lot about what it means to be family. You gave me a second chance. That changed everything. I want to help you build something, the way you unknowingly helped me rebuild." I swallowed hard. I didn't cry. Not quite. But something cracked open in me. "You sure about this?" "Dead sure," she said. "You gave me accountability. I want to give you opportunity." We sat in silence for a while. Then I said, "You know what? I forgive you." She looked over slowly, like she wasn't sure she heard right. "I do. Not because it's easy. And not because you earned it overnight. But because you faced the music. You rebuilt your life. And I'm proud of you." Her lips trembled. Then she laughed through the tears. "I've been waiting 2 years to hear that." I took the check, folded it, and tapped it against the table. "We're good now, Emily." "Truly?" She nodded, eyes bright. "Good. Because I was gonna ask if you'd come to my graduation next month. I finally finished my degree. Only if there's an open bar." She snorted. "You're impossible." But she was beaming. And for the first time in a long, long time, it felt like we were exactly where we were supposed to be.